Hey guys, this is literally like one of my favorite videos to film. One of my favorite videos of the year, and it's how many palettes did I bring into my collection over the year. So how many palettes did I bring in the year of 2024, and would I repurchase them? So if that sounds interesting to you, come on in, let's start the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So yes, I'm really festive. I got my Christmas holiday sweater on. You know, this is like the only time I can wear it because it's literally doing way too much the rest of the year. But, you know, even though I'm filming this like right after Christmas, it's still Christmas time. It's, you know, that weird period of year where you're like, you don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is because it's between Christmas and New Year's Eve. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a nice holiday season. But unfortunately, I do kind of know what day it is because I still have to work. I don't have the luxury of taking like the 2 weeks off right now, but it's all good. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, and eyeshadow is my jam. It's literally like one of my most favorite things to talk about here on my channel. So this is literally probably like, I don't know, the fifth, the sixth, maybe the sixth or the fifth time I felt, why don't I know that? But like the fifth or the sixth time that I filmed this video. I usually do it every year. And so this is like my version of kind of like wrapping up the year. I don't usually rank my palettes. I'll probably tell you like which one's my favorite of the year. And I already did my top eyeshadow palettes of the year. So you can run on over to that video. But this is like me just simply saying like, this is what I brought into my collection. And if I had to do it again, would I bring it into my collection again? So I just feel like it's so much fun. Sometimes it's eye-opening, especially like the previous videos, the previous years. It's like, oh my God, we're running like a palette a year. This is insane. This is crazy. So I don't know, we kind of got a lot this go round, but very fortunate enough, I've been getting some more exposure, so I really do appreciate it. It's nothing but you guys just supporting this channel and giving some, you know, authentic brand connections. And I've been getting a lot of PR, and luckily the PR that I get are brands that I'm truly interested in. So a lot of these palettes I would have actually purchased on my own. And there's only one brand, which is DD Signature. They have been so nice that was a brand that has reached out to me before I have even tried them. And so I've really been enjoying their products. Now, let's see. Unfortunately, we got some housekeeping to take care of, but we're going to go ahead and make this video joyful. We have a bunch of palettes to get into, so I don't want to talk too long, but we're going to start off with the first 8 palettes, okay? I'm just going to pull them to the front. I'm really not doing this video in any type of particular order. I'm just going down the list. I'm letting you know what I purchased and what I not, a few things that I love about the palette. And, you know, and I definitely will let you know if I got it in PR, you know, but so upsetting. This basically transpired the day before Christmas. Maybe, yeah, was it Christmas Eve? Or no, not Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas. However, okay, really upsetting about Ashleigh Cosmetics. So, you know, I didn't even know exactly what was happening at first. I actually didn't even know, like somebody else had to tell me because they know that I love Ashleigh Cosmetics and they saw all the drama that was happening. And I had mentioned to a couple of my friends, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting the new release. I'm so happy. Like they're starting to send me stuff beforehand so I can get up on my channel, which is super beneficial for you guys. Because you can see like if you want it. Plus I feel like I was one of the only Black creators that actually got the products. There's other people of color, but as far as a Black African-American woman getting the products beforehand. Now, and a lot of stuff I have purchased my own, but it's so upsetting because she actually, if you don't know what happened, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, but it's in this video, so I'm going to show the products and I probably have to address it like one more time. But the business brand page, like the Ashleigh Cosmetics Instagram page, did like some very questionable Instagram pages and some posts. They were very anti-trans, very just very hateful. And some people would say it's not hateful. Some people would say it's a difference of opinion, but it just kind of pushed hate in that direction. And I did look at the Instagram page that was tagged, or the screenshot was shown by the creator that the brand liked. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is not for me. This is not my cup of tea. I understand the difference of opinions. Sometimes it gets a little blurred line for me, but at the end of the day, we all have to be respectful of people, of how they identify. We all have to be respectful. We don't have to understand it, but you don't have to push the hate. And it was just a really bad look. Like, okay, you're doing it from your brand Instagram account. Like, how fast do you want to take your brand? Now, granted, I really don't want you doing it at all. Let's not do it at all. But you did it from your brand Instagram. So I don't know what you thought was going to happen. Now, the pages seemed like anti-trans, it was just really offensive. And then also, as a Black woman, and I don't even know how true this is, but somebody was also saying about their pricing that is $88.88. That was like also a something that white nationalists use as a dog whistle against Black people. And look, as a 92%er, meaning in part of the 92% that voted for Kamala in the election, I have all my feelings, okay? So, like, we're always standing up for everybody else, but a lot of people don't come to the Black woman's rescue. And I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but it's just facts. It is what it is, okay? But I'm here to say I'm an ally of that community. And like I said, things are confusing for me, but you don't have to push hate. Ask questions. I feel like it's enough people that she could have asked questions for in this community. It just felt bad. It felt icky. I know a lot of people were upset about the AI. It upset me. It didn't upset me. I see both sides of the argument, but hate is hate. And I don't like that. And I cannot condone that. Am I totally canceling the brand? No. But I need to see where this is going. And I don't want it to be like a pander, like I'm doing this and this and this and this, like to get these customers back. No, let's be genuine. Let's learn. Let's figure this out. So I have to watch this from afar. I do have a lot of the products that I have from Nomad Cosmetics, I have purchased with my own money. These were genuine interest products. I've talked about them all year long. And so I will show you the products I got in PR, the ones I got with my own money. 9 times 10, I love their products. So I would have bought it, but now I won't be really purchasing anything from the brand until I see a shift. Definitely people need to learn. Definitely you need to have forgiveness in your heart because everybody makes mistakes. And a lot of the brands that we love and feel like they're so good, and so they have made mistakes too, okay? So let's keep it 100. They have definitely made missteps, okay? And maybe they didn't offend the LGBTQ plus community, but they offended other communities, and they have been able to come up, make it right. And so that's why I hope it can happen. But at this point in time, I just need to watch it and see what's going on. And I just also feel like it's a slap in the face because the beauty community is full with all types of people. And this is the people you're making your money off of. So you can't sit here and dislike these posts and then sit here and make money off of this group of people. Like, it don't work both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So, irritated. But these are the palettes. I love them. They're so damn pretty. And the products are amazing. And these are the 8. So I'm going to start with the first 2. And this is the release that actually came out the day after Christmas. And this is the Snow Moon palette and the Wolf Moon palette. And if she hadn't sent this to me in PR and all was well with the brand, yes, I would have purchased this, okay? And this was actually based off of their best-selling Cold Moon palette. And yeah, it's gorgeous. So I really love this color story. This is the Snow Moon palette. I love me some cool tones. I just love me some cool tones. I love me some warm tones, but I've really been embracing these cool tone stories as of lately. They just bring me back to the vibe and nostalgia of when I started liking makeup, which was back in the 90s. Because, I'm a good old 80s baby. I'm a zennial, as I would like to say, because I had a very analog childhood, followed by a digital adulthood. Like, a lot of this digital stuff came out after I came out of college, okay? So, You know, so I know the transition of like basically everything. So I really love this. Beautiful. You already know I love me some navy blue. You already know I love me some grays and these little multi-chromes. The color stories with Inslee Rain have been phenomenal. I feel like it's always something different, unique, and fresh. Then we also have the Wolf Moon. So this would be like number 2. Of course, I think this was my favorite palette. Now, I did kind of like dip into this palette just a little bit and played around and just saw and swatched it. I was just curious. This is a very gorgeous color. And I'm not, if you want to buy from them, do you, okay? I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but for me, I'm just going to sit back and wait and see. And don't bash any creator if they decide to keep their products and use their products, since Inslee Rain ain't cheap. And give people space and grace. Because let me tell y'all, if Kara, Beauty and the Frizz hadn't said like, girl, because I had just put in the group chat, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting the palette. I went from like stalking UPS and I was like, how they going to do me dirty? They said they was going to deliver my palette by 9 o'clock Saturday and they didn't even show up. And then to be just being so upset and disappointed. It just, ugh. So I was literally like, I was going to break my neck to get these palettes up for you guys so you can see the stuff by, you know, hopefully by the time the products at least came out, so you could actually just have a couple looks for you or something. So literally this was like something that it was just kind of like word of mouth for the travel. And you might not even be familiar with it, but I just want to have, you know, let you know the backstory, how I feel, what we're going to do going forward, what I'm going to do going forward. But don't go on nobody else's page bashing them. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, just click off, leave, exit stage left, keep your mouth shut. Thanks. Now, don't do other people in. It's that don't make it no better, okay? So you can't tell brands to be nice and then you want to pop off and be ugly to other folks. It don't work both ways, y'all. So this color story is really beautiful. I think this is what my favorite color story out of the 2 palettes. Really nice to see like the smaller palettes from Inslee. Love that. I love the bigger palettes as well. But I do also like, you know, these like 2-row palettes, smaller curated color stories. These 2 palettes right here, I definitely bought with my own money. Love them so much. I presented them on my channel a little bit later on because I bought these. You know, I've had a heck of a year. Got really sick. Got diagnosed with like occipital neurogenesis. It sucks. 0 out of 0. Would not recommend. But Flourish. Bought this really gorgeous palette. I absolutely would repurchase it again. And we're talking about if all was well. Okay. Now, we also have the Flutter, and I love how this was like the smaller curated story. Bought both of the palettes, and it was really like, I was going to get both palettes, and then I took a step back because it was expensive. And I was like, do I want to get both palettes? But then I was really happy I did pick up both palettes. And then, oh my gosh, you already know that this is a color story that speaks right up to my heart, my good old alley. Flutter. Look, it's so grungy, muted. You know, I love me some mint and some purples. Love them. I'm here for it. Gorgeous color story. This gray based multi-chrome, just so beautiful. And just, like I said, really great curated color stories. Somebody did bring up an interesting point. I saw a comment on like the recent post of how they could do better and talking about the AI art. And it was like, at least have different races also, different ethnicities. That would be great too, you know, but I understand like she might be white and you do what you do, but yeah, that would be nice too to see everybody reflected. We have the Flower Moon. This was actually sent to me in a nice PR package and from the brand with some other couple goodies back in the beginning of the year. And really, really gorgeous palette. I was probably going to eventually pick this up because I saw this from the brand, and this is like this brand is just so upsetting because I saw some things like the Strawberry Moon palette like the end of last year. I bought Harvest Moon at the end of last year when that came out, and I was like, this brand has like reinvigorated me on some eyeshadow palettes because I was just kind of getting bored. Like last year for me, eyeshadow palette wise was just like mid, you know what I mean? But like I saw their stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so inspired. So I would pick this up. Not my favorite out the bunch, but really nice, really pretty springy colors. This color right here, 10 out of 10. The mattes are always good. Even the little mattes that look ashy, they work. Now this palette was sent to me in PR. I absolutely was going to purchase this sucker right here. It is a beautiful spicy neutral palette. The light in your eyes. I feel like we didn't even give a chance for this like collection to breathe. I just knew she was done when she released this, because this came out like right before Thanksgiving, and I just knew she was done. I was not expecting like the Wolf and the Snow Moon collection to come out. Gorgeous. The mustard actually works. I always like to point that out, because if you have skin complexion like mine, which is like golden and red, mustards can be hard to show up. I feel like this is a perfect everyday palette with just a lot of bang for your buck. We have good old Groovy Garden. I was absolutely going to pick this up. I purchased this with my own money. I just feel like it's just such a beautiful spicy neutral palette. Once again, you have a lot of different variations. Now I would say like most of the shimmers do actually pull inherently green on there. Probably picked it off the garden shade, but I feel like you still can get a wide variety of looks, because you had the mustards, and you had the mauves, and you had the mints, and you had the deep plums. And I actually prefer to a lot of times have plum like in my outer crease like I do today, and I'll show you what I'm wearing, one of my favorite palettes of the year. But because I feel like it just goes so nice with my skin tone, and it's just like a different taste. It's like, it's neutral, but it's like not brown. I do like browns sometimes, but I just kind of prefer to sometimes have like a deep aubergine color in my outer quarter. And you know, my favorite palette, this girl right here. We went together so bad all year long. The Cold Moon palette. I mean, and these shadows, you would look at it, you would just think like, with these little like light wash, not pastel, would they work? And they worked. Only shadow I did not play with was this, but if I popped it on my lid or in the inner corner, it definitely worked. All of these worked so well, showed up really well on my skin complexion, did not have to blend them out. Also really nice with the pigmentation, because when you started blending them, you didn't get like that whitewash that you would get with some of those pastel shades or lighter shades where it's just like a lot of white base to the shadow, but you actually had the pigment of the shadow. So those are the first 8 palettes. I said my spiel about it. I'm done. We gonna celebrate the rest of the video. All right, so now we're going to kick it off to like one of my favorite palettes of the year, and this is also the palette I'm wearing. And if you're wondering about my gloss, it is the Adept Cosmetics Simplicity Gloss, and this is the shade Death Becomes Her. So this is the shade Death Becomes Her. Beautiful, beautiful formula. I purchased this for my own money. Now, the palette that I'm wearing right now, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's just like kind of a lazy look, but it looks gorgeous. And this is the Gargoyle palette. I absolutely love this palette. It's by Unearthly Cosmetics. I feel like she just did an absolute beautiful job on this particular palette. I purchased this with my own money, and this is number 9. And look at it. I mean, honestly, look at it. So if you're wondering for right now, like I said, I have these plums. I have this shade right here. I did kind of deepen over in this area with this. Then I decided, oh, let's put this on the outer, like, and then I went in with this shimmer and this shimmer. But I just love that you get so many beautiful jewel tones. It shows up wonderful on my complexion. You're going to get neutral. You're going to get grungy. You're going to get some gothic looks. You're going to get some blue looks, purple looks. It's so many different options and color combinations that you can do with this palette. And look at my eye look right now. It is like inherently neutral. You know what I mean? You wouldn't even necessarily think. I love that the shimmer consistency, texture, you have like some beautiful kind of like hollow chromes that are not doing too much, that give like a nice interesting sparkle, because I do like taupey and champagne shades, but I prefer them to look like this. I like them to have a little multi-chrome, little magic in it. It doesn't have to be a straight up multi-chrome, but I just like a little extra, like a little spice added to my neutral shadows. And like I said, this is just gorgeous. So coming in number 9, Gargoyle palette, I would absolutely repurchase. Now this is like, you know, I've been tearing up some C Beauty. So this is the Anthony, this is the Dark Butterfly palette. I purchased this with my own money. I absolutely would repurchase this. I think I did a look for you guys in like one of my, one of my videos. I think it was like a palette rotation. I absolutely would repurchase this. The C Beauty companies have been so great. A lot of them are actually vegan and cruelty free. I absolutely would repurchase this with my money. The shipping was a little bit longer, but it's coming from China. And like the multi-chromes, the matte choices, everything shows up wonderful. I absolutely would repurchase this. Next up, I have this palette. Now this was actually gifted to me, so think my count is a little bit off. Okay, so this is PR as well. This is the Noremi Back to the 90s palette. And so, yeah. Okay, so I know where I stand now. At this moment, I have not used it. I swatched it for you guys for my C Beauty haul. But at the moment, and what I know about the brand, I would repurchase it. Because this came in like right after Thanksgiving. So some of these palettes I haven't even had a chance to play with, other than and then some of the palettes, it's just like, you know, time gets away from you. Coming in at number 12, this was gifted to me by Dee Dee Signature, and this is the Taste of Guava. I am really happy to have this in my collection. This was just like a big surprise. Now, I can't say if I had known about this, would I have purchased this with my own money, because I didn't really know anything about Dee Dee Signature, but I really like this. So knowing what I know now, yes, I would have purchased this with my own money. It is a fabulous little quad, and I feel like you definitely get a lot of variations. Now, am I like a pink matte person per se? No, but like the other 3 shades really make it nice. Plus, like, her brand is pretty affordable. Coming in at number 13. Oh my gosh, so this is like the only eyeshadow release that I have picked up from Mama Dang Pat, and let me yeah, I'm like, the makeup news in the past couple of days have been like mind-blowing, because I don't know if you follow Makeup Craze, her Instagram page, but she put a post up that Pat McGrath is more than likely, and she wasn't quite sure, but she had a very reliable source, that she would be leaving Sephora in 2025. I said, okay, cool. But then they've hinted that the brand might be shutting down also. And that would just be so devastating and disappointing. I hope they can just kind of pull out of Sephora and maybe regroup, because it's very expensive to be in Sephora. You know, you got to like always push product. And then, you know, it's just kind of like, now it's just so much neutral product, and it's probably just so people can buy, because you have to sell to be in Sephora. So maybe if she goes back to just being on her website, she could provide some of the original artistry that she had with, like, especially with her beginning motherships. But let's see, this is Opulent Orchid, and I would repurchase this. I purchased it with, of course, I don't get PR from Pat McGrath. She says limited PR. But I would repurchase this. I haven't had a chance to use it because I was sick this summer, and then by the time I was able to get to it, it just didn't work. But the color story was a little different, especially from what we had. We do have a pink, but we had the aqua and the lavender, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and pick this up. Like, the packaging is just so-so because it's cardboard, but I do overall like it, and I would repurchase it. All right, coming in at number 14, this is the Nomad Cosmetics Chicago Speakeasy palette. I absolutely would repurchase this palette. This palette I did get with my own money, and I just love the cover. You know, I have to love the cover for me to keep it, because I can't open crap to save my life. And then when you open it, this is what the actual palette looks like. I absolutely love it. I feel like they did such a great job with the color story of Chicago and making it around the central theme of, like, the nightlife, the speakeasies, the bootlegging, the gangstas of my hometown and where I live now. And the shimmers are wonderful. It's a nice spicy neutral palette. I do wish that these will pull a little bit darker. Felt like it was just a little bit too whitewashed with the pigment, and I really wasn't as happy with the green as I wanted to be, but overall a really beautiful, solid palette. All right, coming in at number 15, this is a palette I purchased with my own money. You know, I get a lot of PR usually from Nomad Cosmetics, but this is the Robert Welsh Divination palette. Absolutely stunning and gorgeous. You know, this palette gave me a good old run for my money if you saw this video, but overall the palette is fabulous. It wasn't the palette, it was me and my execution skills that particular day, but I love the palette. I feel like the color story is still very unique. It's very on trend with Blends Bunny, and it still brings something new to the collection, even though it's kind of like the same format and setup. I like how we have the neutral shades. I also like how we have the purples, the light and the deeper shimmers, and the grays and the blacks always do it for me. I just was like, I thought that this row was just going to be a little bit deeper when I played with the palette, but overall, just a really stunning palette. All right, coming in at number 16 is my girl Jamie. This is the Plume collection. She is Makeup on Your Radar 2 on Instagram, and I would have definitely purchased this, and this would have been like my introduction to Dee Dee Signature, but I was so happy to get this this in PR, and I was thankful for Jamie for sending this over. And it actually comes with beautiful, probably should have counted this separately because I counted all my other little mini palettes separately. But these are 4 separate individual palettes with very different and unique color stories. Really gorgeous. And I will let you know, like, my favorite. I kept all the packaging. So, okay, we got Elegance, definitely one of my favorites. Like, you already know. I love me some blue, I love me some lime, and this shimmer right here, just super stunning. The matte formula is a new updated formula from DD Signature. Really, really gorgeous. We also have the Extravagance palette, and really, really gorgeous as well. This particular color story wasn't my favorite. It's really beautiful, but it was definitely like something a little bit outside of my color wheelhouse or preference, but I think it's really gorgeous. We had the Eloquence, another one of my favorite color stories. Really beautiful with these plums and the purples and the aquamarine. And probably the fan favorite, because every time I looked on the website, this one was just sold out, is the Effervescence. And these were the ones with the shifter shades, and that you can kind of pair with it. And she just did such a beautiful job. And I love how it's just like 5 little unique palettes. You can kind of get your slice of whatever you want to purchase, because let's be honest, like, the color story was really bold and in charge, but you know, it might not be for everybody, but you could pick out like what you wanted, you know what I mean? So I feel like she did a really fabulous job. I love how the packaging came out, and I love how it just has like this beautiful little case and everything sits so nice in there. So that is number 16. Number 17 was given to me in PR, and I feel like this is a super beautiful, beautiful palette. And honestly, I would purchase this with my own money. I don't have a lot of Christmas palettes from Nomad, and actually the Chicago palette got me noticed for Nomad, but this was a really gorgeous palette. I love the blues, I love the browns, and unlike in the Chicago palette, I felt like all the mattes were really gorgeous in this particular palette, because even like these 2 lighter mattes, like this one right here, and even this, pulled excellent on my skin complexion. When you went to blend it out, you didn't have any problem. You do have the white, very snowy, very whimsical, but also still very warm, where you can kind of get a lot of everyday use out of this particular palette. Coming in at number 18, this is a palette that I would repurchase at the moment. I have not had a chance to use it because it just got here, but this is the Shall We Makeup Farsha palette, and I got the mini palette. I just love how they give you the mini option, because you know I got a lot of eyeshadow, okay? But look at this color story. I just only swatched it for you guys when I did like my C Beauty, or no, it's just a haul. I just watched it, I think. So whenever I do get a chance to look at it, but I just love the color story. I thought it was really unique and pretty with the plums and kind of like the pinks, and you got the mustard. It was just really different, fresh, kind of innovative. I do actually like how the bigger palette looks better versus, I'm just glad I was true to my wallet and purchased the mini palette. You know what I mean? So I absolutely will repurchase it, because the mini palette, it's like a difference of $25. It's like half. This was like $25. The bigger one is like $50. So I'm happy with that. All right. So this palette was a gift, and this is going to be, I think we're at number 19. Yes, number 19. This is also a Narumi palette. This is a C Beauty brand, and this is the Deadwood palette. This was given to me as a gift. I saw it floating around on Instagram. Somebody asked me what I wanted, and I was like, I would like this. So I would have repurchased it, or I was planning on purchasing it. But oh my gosh, when I tell you, this is kind of like my introduction. I had tried Shall We before, but this was like my next introduction into this space. Now, I purchased this particular palette from the Look Healthy store. Well, she purchased it. I don't know, because it was wrapped so tight, and we were all just like floored about how it could have ended up being broken. And I have purchased things from the Look Healthy store, I mean, wrapped like tight. So I don't even know. But the color story, immaculate. That mustard, like a Kendrick. So with the burgundies and the plums, the shimmers are amazing. Feel like the color story is really great. I really like this. The C Beauty brands have really great formulas, really great color stories, and the quality is just So that's why I've been loving them. Coming in at number 20 is a palette that I received in PR, and this is the DD Signature Sweet Aesthetics palette. Now, honestly, I probably would not have purchased this with my own money. I'm just not a big pastel person. Now, this pastel palette really does work on individuals, a deeper skin tone. It's really made for us. The quality is really nice, so I would recommend this. But overall, I'm just not a big pastel person. So my favorite roll is really the roll down here because it's a little bit more muted and the colors, the shades and the hues are really just a little more look grungy-ish. But I really do appreciate it. I really do like it. So I would definitely recommend it. But I probably just wouldn't have purchased it because it's not my personal aesthetic. And at number 21, we have the second edition with Tina the Fancy Face with Nomad Cosmetics. And this is the Earthwood palette. Really gorgeous. The color story is really fun, really unique, really different. And I would repurchase this palette because this shade right here, Beauty, is just so beautiful. It's a really wonderful multi-chrome and just kind of transforms the look. I also really like this plum shade. Those are shades that kind of like speak to me, the greens, and it's like it's neutral but like a different twist on the neutral palette, so I really appreciate the color story. And I was just kind of like taking a chance on, although the formula is nice on here because I felt like over last year that their formula had slipped. And then I also picked up Annette Makeup's Corner, her second installment, and this is the Mighty Monster palette. Really love this story too. This story, like color story, was a little bit different versus off her first one as well. Really interesting shades. The multi-chrome is in here is really pretty. The shimmer shades are really in here pretty. I feel like both of these could be kind of like companion palettes, but I would repurchase them again. I am really happy with them and kind of got like quite a bit of use out of it in the beginning of the year. Number 23 is a palette that I'm really happy to have in my collection. It's kind of like a bit of makeup nostalgia, and I would repurchase this again. This is the Paleo palette by Nomad Cosmetics, and I just feel like this is just a really gorgeous neutral pop of blue palette, although it is very nostalgia of that time period of 2017 with the neutrals and the pop of blues. I do definitely like it because, like I said, you can just get those looks. You have some shimmers in here, like the taupey shimmers that just have something to offer, even the pinks and the rose gold and the blues. The mattes are really nice. This is my first time trying the mattes by Cleona, so I was really happy with that. And then this one is the Oceano palette. This is like the newest installment, and I would purchase this also. So this is coming in at, I don't know why I can't keep up with the count. Like, what's wrong with me? So this is 24, and this is the Oceano palette. And this was one of my favorite palettes of the year as well because I feel like this is blue color story just done so well. Really excited to have this in my collection. And if I could only purchase one out of the three that came out, it would be this one. And at number 24, I love this. It'd be nice if I put it the right way. And there was no question about it. I was purchasing these. This is the Neutrals palette by Cosmic Brushes. Very gorgeous, spicy neutral again. And I love it so. And I absolutely would repurchase this palette. Number 26, and you know me, I love me some some cool tones. So this is the Cool Chose palette. So I definitely would repurchase this again. I mean, this is just done so right. And I also feel like it's like a play on the color stories that I have also presented here on this channel. And if you're looking for something that was more like budget friendly, I would definitely recommend this. It is so gorgeous. So I absolutely would repurchase this palette again. Coming in at number 27 is the Cryptine Cosmetics Tulip Dreams palette. Now this palette was sent to me in PR, and I don't know, I might have picked this up a little bit later on, maybe not when it first launched. I do really like it, but the really cool thing about it is that the owner of Cryptine sent this to me because after she saw my video of one of the palettes, which I'll show later, I had a couple problems with some of the mattes not showing up very well, which I was really shocked about because the first palette I tried by them, I didn't have that problem. And she said, you know what, I wanted you to try this out, let me know, and I'm going to be mindful about going forward to make sure that the colors pull well on deeper skin tones. But the palette is absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like it's pastel, but not too far pastel because you have this green and you got the beautiful shimmers, and it's just right enough. But you know, pastels are not like my absolute jam. Number 28, I would repurchase this again, and I am so sad that I haven't even had a chance to use it. This is the Angry Leprechaun palette, but I love me some Clarity Cosmetics. So I feel like this is such a good story, such a grungy, good take on a Halloween story, but still keeping it where people will feel comfortable using it again. I also feel like it's really great as like a Halloween, like not just Halloween, but like Christmas time story, because you got the reds and the bronzes and the greens. Really gorgeous. If I know anything about Clarity, I know that I would love this, so I'm really happy and I would repurchase this again. All right, coming in at number 30, I would repurchase this also. And so this was just kind of crazy, but I haven't even had a chance to use it, but this was actually like the reformulation of like this is the So Mesmerizing or So Mermazing palette, and back in the day, and that was a pastel palette, and they marketed it as using it, you know, for people of color, because Clarity is a Black owned brand. And I was like, I just didn't have a good experience with that palette, but I waited a couple years and retried the brand, so now I really like them. So you know, you got to retry folks here and there, because you know, once might not be enough, or some things might change, and that's definitely what happened. But unfortunately, because of being sick, I just wasn't able to get to this palette. But I was like, this is so grungy and good, and I really wanted to give it another shot. And yes, it is pastel-y, but it got the little grungy side. I really bought it for this side on back, and then like this green. So I would repurchase this again, and I'm going to try to get to this eventually. All right, so coming in next, we have 31 through 34, and it's these little babies right here. This is by Glaminatrix Cosmetics, and I just got these. So I can't even tell you, but what I do know about Glaminatrix Cosmetics is that I love them, and their formula is super nice. So, but I do know if I didn't get this in PR, there are a couple of color stories that I would have purchased without, you know, hesitation, which would have been this one right here, and this little mauve tone right here. This is Entrancing Eyes. I would have purchased this with my own money if I needed to. And then also this one right here, which is Exquisite Eyes, because I also feel like these two would just like pair so nicely together. And you know, I love me some little green shadows, so I can't wait to dip into these. So I just feel like these two would have made such a great little combo together. And I just love the elevation of the packaging. Like Glaminatrix, y'all have like reinvested in your brand. I'm really happy about that. And then we have Elegant Eyes, which is really pretty as well. But I wouldn't have purchased this one again, because I do have another palette that I'll show you soon by Glaminatrix Cosmetics. And I felt like it might have been a tiny bit redundant, but I feel like this is still really beautiful as well. And then the last but not least, we have Elevated Eyes. And this one would probably be like, should I get it? Should I not get it? And it is a beautiful blue tone palette, so really gorgeous as well. And I feel like this will go really nice with the green palette as well. So yes, that is 31 through 34. Coming in at number 35 is The Fearless Holiday by DD Signature. I absolutely would have purchased this again. I did purchase this particular palette with my own money, and it is gorgeous, honey. I'm so glad I purchased this. I feel like she is on the rise. You need to watch out for her in 2025. Gorgeous. The matte formula. This is the new and improved matte formula. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. Love it. So, I mean, it's holiday without reading holiday. You can definitely use it all throughout the year. It's grungy, so it has all the tones that I love for. You got your neutrals. It's also curated, so you can use it just down the roll. So if you're kind of confused about the color story, or of course, you know, I love to jump around. Really, really gorgeous. And it is newer, but I would repurchase this again. And then we also have one of my faves by her, and she sent this, I think this is the second palette she sent to me. Absolutely love this palette. This is the Ultimate Cappuccino eyeshadow palette. So now we are coming in at number, should be 36. And let me tell you, the shimmers in here down at the bottom are just wonderful. Now the mattes in here are just okay. So when I asked her about it, she said that these were supposed to be the new improved mattes, but some of them just weren't formulated that great by the lab as she hoped. But the mattes in here, to me, I like them, but I don't like them. I like these. The orange, but I feel like now, per preference, orange mattes for me are not like the greatest. I don't really care about them too much, you know? So I know it used to be a time where it was like the brick orange, you know, the orangey brown. It had to be in the crease. Not so much for me anymore. But, because it's some other palettes, I'm like, this orange. But, really, really gorgeous palette. This one, honey, number 37, if she did not send this to me, you best to believe I was going to pick it up, because if you know me, you know that this is my color story, honey. And it's blends, so you already know with the quality it is coming through. This is the Longing palette. You know, I kind of equate blends. It's no shade, Maggie, but it's so funny. Like, my life be going in shambles when you come out with palettes. So, like, this was the start. I was like, used it, and then like 2 days later I was in the hospital. It's not your fault. I was feeling terrible before, okay? So it's not your fault. But it's just so funny. It's like always something traumatic in my life when Blend Bunny is launching a palette. But it's super gorgeous. You already know how I feel about this. You already know how I feel the color story. And these are like some of the best shimmers she's ever done. All right, number 38. This is the Barely Basic palette, and if they did not send this to me, I would definitely purchase this. And this is why I was saying I feel that this one would have been a little bit redundant for me, where we had the neutral palette, because this, honey, is not basic at all. Really love the palette. I love how we did like the color progression. We got like neutrals, we got the mustards, we got the browns. The only complaint I would say is this row just needs to go a little deeper for that contrast in the outer V, but other than that, it is pretty much perfect. I highly recommend this one if you're looking for a great spicy neutral palette. All right, at 39, we have the Pretty in Pastel. Now this one, I don't know if I would purchase it, but I would say that I feel like this is probably the best pastel palette I have in my collection, outside of the DB Signature one, because baby, they went deep, and I'm so glad they did. And I saw so many complaints like, why is that bottom row in there? Because I need it, okay? I need it. So you can see the stuff on my eyes. So pretty. The shades are not whitewashed or anything like that. Really fabulous job with this particular color story. So this is number 39. This is like a maybe, because like I said, I'm just not really that into pastels. All right, coming in at number 40, this is kind of like a eat your words by, you know, like coffee, okay? You know, so this is like a eat your words by. Like, I wasn't gonna get it, and then it just started like creeping into my mind. So I didn't pick this up until this year. But this is the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. I absolutely love it. Like, why was I kidding myself? You know, I think what was also saying to me was like, be wise, don't spend the money. I also had my Blowing Smoke palette by ColourPop, but this is so good. I absolutely love this color story. I also like mixing and matching it with other palettes. I enjoy using it by itself, and I got a lot of use out of it. So yeah, I would repurchase this again. Number 41, this is a palette that I purchased with my own money by Adept Cosmetics. This is Cyborg Choir, and I absolutely would repurchase this again. And I was trying to be good, and I was like, I don't need to buy this because I have, what was it, the Element 115 or 113, but this is not like the same, and I'm so glad I did. The shadows in here are absolutely stunning. Like the colors, oh my gosh. The holochromes, this shade right here, Digital Harmony, like, oh my gosh, Pixelated Pulse, just some beautiful, beautiful shades. Really well done. So I would repurchase this again, and I'm actually glad that I really did pick this up. Coming in at number 42, this is Legend of Audra, and this is by Adept Cosmetics. This was sent to me in PR, but if she hadn't sent this, yes. Of course, a little bit more neutral. The mattes, at first I was like, the look I put together was okay, but as I started playing with it, I was like, oh my gosh, the mattes go so well together, get some beautiful looks. No doubt that the shimmers were always gorgeous. Really love these two like multi-chrome mixture shades right here that turn really nice. Beautiful, just shimmers. Like, I feel like you could just do a lot with this, and it's really, really pretty. I also feel like some of these shimmers also give like an elevated vibe to, dang, what was that holiday palette? Oh my gosh. Ooh, I can't remember right now. I have to put it on the screen. But yes, really, really gorgeous. All right, coming in at number 43. This right here is going to be the Unity palette. I would repurchase this if she hadn't sent it to me, or would have purchased it. And I think it's really pretty. I think it's just really nice that they did a palette. Well, it didn't have a bunch of multi-chromes in it, but it had nice shimmers in there. It's also inherently kind of neutral, but on the mauve side. So I think she did a fabulous job with this palette. All right, number 44. You know, oh, if she didn't send me this, yes, honey. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Love this palette down. This is the Amy Loves palette with Adept Cosmetics, their collab. Honey, she did this. Like, need I say more? You already know it is just a beautiful neutral palette, really great shades, the multi-chromes. I love this palette down. So yes, I absolutely purchase it. And you already know, this goes without saying. Yes, I would. This is the Flying Fiddles. If she hadn't sent this to me, yes, like I was going to get my hands on this palette. Spicy neutral palette. I have talked about this palette so many times. Love it down as well. Absolutely would. Like, don't make me choose between this and some Amy Loves. Like, it ain't gonna work. Look, okay, it ain't gonna work. With Shadow and Fell Out. Coming in at number 46, I'm really glad that I tried this brand out. This is Krypton Cosmetics, and this is the Burnt Forest palette. So good. The formula, the mattes, the color story, the quality of the shadows. Really happy to have this in my collection. Just a beautiful, solid color story. Love it. Number 47, we have the Krypton Cosmetics Violet Crazy palette. Now, this was the palette that she saw me do in the video where, like, a couple of the mattes, I would repurchase this again. I do really like this palette, and the shimmers were really, really pretty in here. And I mean, like, I was able to use it, but I had to kind of like change my primer up. I used like an actual pink primer by DD Signature, but I do love it. We got like the purples, the grays, really pretty shimmers. So I would repurchase this again. Number 48 is the Krypton Cosmetics Atlantis palette, and this actually released at the same time as the Violet Crazy. I would not repurchase this particular palette again, okay? It was beautiful, and the shimmers are really great. Only the bottom row of the mattes worked for me. I don't know. This palette for me, it fell short a little bit, so I would not repurchase this particular palette again. Coming in at number 49, we have the Shall We Sunburnt Garden palette. This is a collaboration with Freya 86, and I would repurchase this palette again. It is one of my favorites, and you already know, like, I need to say less. Like, look at the color story. You already know that this is something I gravitate towards. So yes. Coming in at number 49, this is a palette that I haven't had a chance to show on my channel. I did get this from the Creators and Friends. This is the Fantasy Cosmetics Fighter palette, and I really like this palette. So I would purchase this if I, was looking at it eventually when I got, because sometimes it's just so many brands, you just can't buy it all. So that's the only thing that's like kept me from Fantasy Cosmetics, or like they'll have a release and I'll see a bunch of other stuff that I know I want to get, so that kind of just takes priority. But I absolutely would repurchase this. This is really pretty. And the same also goes for number 51, which is going to be the Druid palette. And it is such a beautiful, beautiful palette. And it's a color story that I love so much. This is like kind of a few years me color story ago with like, the burgundy and the mustard and the teal and the greens. But I still love this color story so much. But yes, I would purchase this. At number 52, we have the Nomad Cosmetics, and this is the 5 Fuji Lakes. I got this from Creators and Friends as well. And after playing with it, I'm sad I didn't pick this up on my own, but so I would purchase it again because, first of all, this mustard, like, even though it's like a marigold shade, it looks so good on my complexion, and then the reds and the cherries. It's a really fun color story, and it's pastel without being pastel, so yes. Number 53 is the Blood Moon Cosmetics palette. No, the Blood Moon palette by Electrum Cosmetics. I definitely would repurchase this again. This thing is stunning Oh my gosh, the mattes are so great. This palette didn't swatch the greatest, but it performed so well. And this shade right here, even though it kind of looks like my skin complexion, it showed up so well. I'm really here for it. The shimmers, of course, were beautiful. And you just kind of get a lot of different tones with this palette. So I really love it. Coming in at 54, this was a later buy of this year. This is the Sorcerer's Smoke by Unearthly Cosmetics. I definitely would purchase this again. I mean, it's just a beautiful neutral palette. A little grungy, a little green, you know, but still inherently neutral. Got the pop of blue. The formula is beautiful. So yes. All right, well, number 55. I didn't even realize this was missing from the bunch. Okay, so this is Inslee Rain. I said my spill. Yes, I purchased this with my own money. I would repurchase this again. The color story was just amazing. Of course, with the caveat that I put all in the beginning of the disclaimer. So it was 10 palettes by Inslee Rain. I did not realize. Okay, yeah, I don't even know how I missed this one because I love the color story of this one. This is the Underland palette. So yeah, you already know. Coming in at number 56 is the Midnight Moth palette. This is by Electro Cosmetics as well. Now this is really gorgeous as well. I would repurchase this, but my only complaint is that the mattes are really soft in here. I feel like the Blood Moon is actually better than this, but I adore the color story. I actually filmed a whole video for you guys with this 3 looks 1 palette, and I don't know what happened to the footage. Like, I went to go edit it and honey, it was gone. But yes, I really do love this palette, but I just love the Blood Moon better because like the quality of the mattes are better, but I would. Coming in at number 57, I would absolutely repurchase this palette again. This is the Floating Life palette. It's a collab with Freya 86 by Drashhermakeup. It is a C Beauty brand as well. Stunning. Okay, I absolutely would repurchase this palette. The mauves are beautiful. The grays are beautiful. Even like this gray shows up well. The color, the shimmers, the formulas, the textures, the quality, just impeccable. So yes. All right, y'all, we are almost there. So we are in a home stretch. So coming in with number 58. And a few of these palettes, I was very fortunate to get in a haul from C Beauty Mall. They gave me a $300 gift certificate that I could shop with. So that's how a few of these palettes came about. And one of the palettes I showed you, which was the Noremi Back to the 90s palette. So coming in at number 58, we have the Girl Cult Cyber series. And this is so cute. And this, like, the things I picked up here were things that were on my wish list. So this kind of like worked out so perfectly. But I used this once to go to work and I absolutely loved it. And I absolutely would repick this up. It's so cute. The formula is really, really nice. Nice, creamy, buttery mattes. I absolutely would repurchase this little cute baby right here. So coming in at number 59, which was like something I really, really wanted. Not sure how to pronounce the name, but I want to say this is the Veil palette. Just a good, solid, beautiful, neutral palette with these grays and taupes, a little bit more cool tone, little warm tone to it, the beautiful multichromes in it. So yes, I would have repurchased this palette too, or purchased it on my own because it was on my wish list. Like literally that gift card was like, whoop, yes. Coming in number 60, same story. Yes, I would have. This is by the same brand, and this is like their nighttime palette. And I haven't had a chance to play with this one, but so far from what I know, yes. And then we also have the Shall We Elena palette. This is something that was on my wish list. I don't think they had a mini size available with this one. So this came from the C Beauty Mall, a part of that gift certificate that I had. So yes, I would, as far as I know, yes, I would repurchase it because it's beautiful. It's nice and neutral with the pops of color. And I already know that I like Shall We. So, all right, so coming in at number 62, we have the Jingle Bell Ruby. This is by Dee Dee Signature. This is with the updated matte formula. She sent this to me. And I think I would purchase. Had to be. You already know I'm about to drop something. So I don't know if I would have purchased this one, to be honest. Like, I feel like it's really, really pretty, but I feel like it also kind of looks like some of the things I had. So maybe not on this one. Number 63, we have the Classic Autumn palette. This is also by Didi Signature with the updated mattes. And like I said, I like this one also, but it kind of feels reminiscent to what I have already. So I did definitely want to try it out. This one, I like this one better out of like the Jingle Bell Ruby. So I might have purchased this one, but this one I'm really unsure. But that Fearless Holiday one, yes, for sure. Coming in at number 64, this is the She Never Misses palette by Nomad Cosmetics. I absolutely would repurchase this palette. I purchased this with my own money. And it is just so gorgeous. Like, I only played with it once, but the look that I made was just so on point. I mean, it's Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I do agree with like what everybody else says. I feel like this shimmer and this shimmer are just really close on the spectrum. But the purples that I play with, I just really enjoyed it. I felt like the hues of the purples in here were definitely different from what's in the other palettes. So I definitely would. And then last but not least is the Tapatia palette by JC's Cosmetics. Now, I did purchase this with my own money. I was not familiar with the brand, but unfortunately, I don't think I will repurchase this palette again. It was just okay. I mean, I think it's definitely, the color store was gorgeous, was calling my name. I felt like it was super spicy neutral. The quality wasn't bad, but it was just okay. And this shade and this shade appears to be a pressed glitter, so I was like, nope. And I just have like, out of all these palettes and like all the browns and stuff like that I could pull from, I just felt like I had better browns. So yeah, I wouldn't repurchase this one again. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So the final totals are, and I got my little notes right here because obviously my memory at the moment. I don't know, like I have great memory, but like my right then and now, like how many did I count? How many? That memory is a little. So out of the palettes total, I had, let's see, I had 62 palettes. 62 palettes total. And then out of the 62 palettes, 32 of the palettes I bought myself. And then 30 of the palettes were gifted to me. So that is a really great blessing. I'm really, really thankful because you don't even understand, like that PR really helps me put into this channel, helps me to be able to purchase some other things that I'm interested in, that I want to bring to you guys that you might be interested in. And, you know, just not forcing anything on it, but it really does help out. And it's a really blessing because been thugging it out over here and I don't make a lot of money on this channel, so it's a blessing. I really do it out of love. Now, out of the 30 palettes that I did not buy, 4 of the palettes, well, I would say, were actually like just kind of like straight up gifts. That was that Noremi palette, the Deadwood palette, and then I would say the Cherry Blossom palette or the Fuji 5 Lakes from Nomad. And I'm looking over to look at it. Then we had the Fighter and the Druid palette from Fantasy Cosmetics, because those 3 palettes I got on the creator and friends trip. So I would say they're like more like gifts than PR, because everybody else, they reached out to me, you know? And then out of all the palettes I had, so I wouldn't keep 8. Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, honestly, you know, I've never like purchased things just kind of like on the whim, because the majority of the makeup I purchase on my own. But I really do like, that's exciting to me. So let's see, out of my collection of 62, so 54 I would basically keep. So that is like a percentage of like 87% of the collection I would keep. So that's good. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So like before, I used to beat myself up because I'm like, literally I bought like a palette a week. This is definitely over a palette week. But like I said, a lot of things were sent to me in PR, which is super exciting. Plus also receiving that C Beauty Mall gift card, just kind of like put things over the top. But that was really nice of them to reach out. And those are things that I'm all interested in. And all this stuff, like, probably would have picked up, like, yeah. So yeah, let me know down below how many palettes did you pick up this year? Did you go overboard, or did you just kind of keep your collection restraint? Like, I'm telling you, the other parts of my collection is so tight, it's like you know, you saw my blush and highlighters. It's not too much. I mean, yeah. So it's just eyeshadow where it's out of hand. So with that being said, let me know down below. Leave me a comment. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know I've come out with another video, which will be soon. And I'm going to link the other palettes from like the other videos from the previous layers down below in the description. And subscribe to my channel because you know I love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance, chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.